Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet David Anthony Schroeder. He is the co-founder and head instructor at Master's Path Karate. It's just a vehicle to get to young people who are suffering with self-esteem issues. His journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
I remember when I was growing up in the 80s, Karate Kid, #1 show in America, and then it kind of went on hiatus for a few years, and now it's back, and they've got the TV show, and it's wildly popular. Karate hasn't been this cool, I would argue, in 50 years. David Anthony Schroeder knows that very well. He's the co-founder and head instructor at Master's Path Karate. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Jeff, how are you? Thank you very
cool.
much.
Well, your love of karate goes back decades.
Oh, yes. Back to my teens.
Yeah. All right, how did you first get into it?
So I grew up in foster care, and I was always the one that people bullied and picked on. You know, I was the one who was afraid to fight back. I was afraid to, to do anything other than just to cower because I didn't want to get hurt. And one day I found a karate video. I think I was 15, and I plugged it in. I'm like, oh, I can do this. And so it shows you some blocks and how to kick and punch, and so I started practicing doing that on my own, just watching a video, and that was pretty good. I did that for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months, and then from there, I went back and visited my mom for a little while, stayed with her, and then ended up leaving and became homeless. So all of that went to the side, and then at 18, I was living somewhere in Las Vegas, and I got connected with a friend who turned out he was into karate, and so I started studying with him. And we learned a couple of styles. We would do like Wing Chun, we did Tang Sudo, we did American Freestyle Karate, Chin Na, which is like grappling, grabbing, wrist locks and stuff like that. And so I did a lot of that up until I was about 27. And then 27, life kind of came to a halt. I got married.
Sure.
Music went out the window, karate went out the window, and children started coming and had to start providing for them. And so that all went to the wayside back then.
Yes. Okay, when did you opened your studios not too long ago?
So we opened up Master's Path Karate just after the beginning of the year. Okay. Myself and my co-founder, Kwanjang Nim, St. James, that means Grandmaster in Korean. John St. James has been in the martial arts for 52 plus years. And we both have the same desire. We both of us were at-risk youth students. When he was young, he was skipping school, he had failing grades, getting in trouble, doing, what teenagers do. Sure. And he found karate, and it completely changed his life. His grades came back up. He became, a leader within the community. He started pursuing things. He became a black belt, and then became a second-degree black belt. And we both have the same heart for at-risk youth individuals. Mm. And when I say an individual, that could be a youth, between the ages of 7 and 17. That could be an abused woman. That can be abused elderly people. It can be elderly people. It can be people who are caught up in situations where there's just not enough money, there's not enough work, there's not enough things to support them. And so when I say an at-risk person, we look for at-risk people so that we can impact their lives and change the lives for the better. That's what we're trying to do.
I love that. We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll down the website, let's talk about the benefits of karate, because we were talking before the show that, sometimes a parent will get their child involved in like football or baseball or basketball. Karate is different.
Karate is very different. So if you look at all of the medical studies about sports, there's only one form of sport, and karate really isn't a sport. But if you look at Taekwondo, it can be. But if you look at the medical studies, weightlifting, bicycling, wrestling, football, baseball, basketball, all of the various sports basically focus on one part, the physicality of your body.
Right.
Whereas in martial arts, it's your mind, your body, and your spirit. So in karate, you're learning how to punch, right? Well, where are you punching? Here, here, here. That's all mental stuff that your brain has to focus on, right? So your brain is telling you, okay, we want a center punch. Okay, that's right here. Well, that's in the middle with my sternum. So the beautiful thing about karate is it works the mind, it works the body, and it builds up the spirit.
Yes.
If you have a weak spirit, you're like me. When I was a boy, I was afraid of everything. And, I was sickly. And if you have a strong spirit, generally, you're not afraid of the world. You're generally not ill. You're a strong person. And so that wasn't me growing up. Now that I'm back into martial arts permanently until the day I die,
Yes.
I'm always working on every aspect of me because I want to be better today than I was yesterday.
Yes.
And that's the beautiful thing about karate is karate focuses on improvement and improving you and improving your life. And that's the one beautiful thing about karate as opposed to wrestling or basketball.
Yes.
Those things don't work the mind. Yes, there might be some mental activity,
Sure.
but in basketball, there's shoot, dribble, shoot,
Right.
dribble, right? It's the one same motion over and over and over again. But in karate, there are so many various techniques and so many ways to throw a kick. Are you going to block a kick with your leg? Are you going to block a kick with your hands? Are you going to, block with your hands? What are you doing?
Sure.
And that's all happening up here at the same time as you're actually doing it.
David, talk a little bit about the confidence, even if you never needed it in a fight, knowing that you could defend yourself if the bully on the playground decided to pick on you.
Right.
Talk about that.
So confidence. So I had a little boy come in yesterday. He was 11 years old for his first class. He came to visit to see if this would be a good fit for him. And so his confidence level is very low. He's when you talk to him, say, okay, put your hands up. And he's like, that's what, yeah, put your hands up, By the time he was done with the class, he had done a couple of kicks. He had learned a part of a form. He learned how to do something from the form as a physical technique. When he left there, he was like, I could do this, right?
Wow.
When he started, he was like, yeah, I don't know anything about this. What is this? Martial arts has a way of taking your confidence in every area of your life, not just in a sport or in competition, but in everything that you do. It overflows. When you start becoming competent, then you feel confident. When you feel confident, you look at the world and say, well, I could do that even though I've never done it, because you've got the confidence.
Yes.
And, if you're a good basketball player, you have confidence in playing basketball, but you might not feel good about wrestling or playing baseball or bicycling, right? Whereas martial arts is when you start becoming confident in the arts, you have this confidence about you that just overflows into everything. It's a beautiful thing. And when you're confident, then you know that you can be competent in whatever you put your hand to.
Yes. And as you were describing, the results can be instantaneous, like the first session.
Oh, absolutely. So when you do something, I'm sure you've tried things that you looked at like, I don't know if I could do that. And in some cases, maybe you really can't. But if you apply yourself and you keep working on it, well, eventually you get good and your confidence rises. But there are some things that just give you confidence and it overflows into everything, right? So like, I love bike riding. I used to ride the Century bike rides. It's 100-mile bike rides. And at first, you look at that and you think, 100 miles, bike ride? Not me. I don't think so. But when you begin to develop confidence in something like in martial arts, then you look at that and like, I might not do 100 miles, but I'm sure in the heck going to give it a try.
Yes.
So the confidence really comes with the practice and the learning of the art, because the art, it really impacts everything in your life.
Yes. All right, David, we have some video that you guys shot, so we're going to play this, but I want you to talk over it and narrate this for us. And I think this is board breaking, so when it comes on the screen. So is this like a special session? Is that?
So this was a fundraising event. Okay. So what we're doing is we're raising money for what's called the Atlantic Pacific Tung Sudo Foundation. Okay. So the foundation is where we raise money for the foundation, and then the foundation distributes money to several schools within the U.S. and one school in Nepal. And these are at-risk schools. So Master's Path Karate, we just opened this year. It's a brand new at-risk school. But then we have one in Mississippi. We have one in Selma, Georgia. I think there might be two in Selma. And then we have one in Nepal. And so as we raise money, this allows us to give scholarships to other students.
Yes.
So like here in Dallas, we're raising money. Like we did that to raise money. I'm now working to raise money so I can raise scholarships for individual students, right? So a scholarship will give one student a full year of physical training. And so with that training, they also get mentoring. And an at-risk student, the difference between most at-risk students and a regular student is they have one or no parents. They're living in foster care. They're living with a grandparent or aunt and uncle, or they're in a boys' home or foster home or in some kind of institution. And so those students, they don't have that mentoring. They don't have a father to say, look, if you're going to fight somebody, put your hands up so they can't just easily punch you in the nose, right? They don't have somebody that kind of counsels them and guides them and mentors them about life. When we have a student come to me, for instance, I've already walked that path. I've already been homeless. I've been living on the streets. I've been in foster care. I have been without money. I have been through all these situations. And so when a young student comes to me and says, look, I just don't like the people I'm living with. Okay, I understand that. Are they abusing you? Are they physically abusing you? Are they doing something bad? No, they're just old curmudgeons who don't care about things today.
Yes.
Well, in a situation like that, I can say, well, you're 16 years old. You've got 2 years before you age out of the foster care system. I know this is going to be one of those situations that you don't like and you don't want to, but this is one of those life situations where we learn to grin and bear it. We just have to overcome that particular obstacle for the next 2 years until you're old enough that you can go out on your own.
Yes.
The option is trying to find another foster home, so I can mentor that way with the youth. And then on top of that, the scholarship also includes a full year of leadership training. The leadership training is done by Kwanjang Nim, John St. James. And now when I say Kwanjang Nim, that means great grandmaster in Korean, because what we're studying is a Korean martial art. So he's a grandmaster. He's a 9th degree black belt, not self-promoted. He's had to earn it every way. He does the leadership training, and he is Tony Robbins on steroids, and I mean that with all sincerity. He's certified with John Maxwell. His training puts all of these leadership developers, in the kindergarten, first grade class compared to him. I've been studying with him now for 3 years. Just the leadership. And all I can tell you, Jeff, is he's phenomenal. He knows how to work things and create things that you have to do that brings that information, that data points out of you, right? Yes. So when he's teaching you about confidence, right, he's teaching you, well, this is what confidence looks like. These are the steps you have to work on to gain confidence. And we just happen to be in confidence this month in our leadership training for our students. So
Wow.
the fact that you bring that up, it's like, wow, that's perfect.
Well, and you work with people of all ages. You have one student who is 64?
Yes, sir. Miss Mary Peterson. She is 64. She's been with me since the beginning of the year. She had some training somewhere else. That didn't work out. She came to me, and so she's been with me since. We just tested her to orange belt. Nice. So at 64, she is now an orange belt, and she is elated enough that she decided she wants to pursue becoming an instructor herself.
Wow.
So now we are going to work on teaching her how to teach. We're going to teach her, what a class looks like, how to prepare for a class, all those things that go into being a good instructor.
Yes.
And to make a decision like that at the age of 64, that's a big deal.
I love it.
To say, what, I want to not only inspire people, I want to teach them so I can inspire them even more. And Miss Peterson's her whole thing about life is she wants to inspire people.
Yes.
And to step up to become an instructor and say, what, this is my opportunity to impact young people.
Yes.
For better. She's my oldest student, and she's doing incredibly well. To watch her grow, I'll say this, as a senior, it's not always easy to move our bodies. I'm 63, and there are days I wake up and I'm like, oh, the cricks and the cranks and the creaks and the wobbly knees, they show up. The fact that she gets up each day ready to move forward, she loves what she's doing. She tells me, like she texted me before coming, Celebration Magazine is going to do a cover story on her.
Amazing.
At 64, doing karate. And so she is changing the world one person at a time, just herself, her enthusiasm, her excitement, her mindset, the things that she's doing, and watching her grow. Yes. The greatest thing for me is seeing a student come in not knowing anything, mm-hmm. and watching them take something they've never done before, practice it, and start becoming good at it. And then it begins to impact their life because now they've got that confidence. They feel confident about themselves.
Yes.
And now they're like, if I can do this, gosh, what else can I do?
I love it. David, we have 2 minutes left, so I want you to look into the camera on the left and maybe talk to that parent of a young person who's kind of lost their way and why they might want to contact you.
Absolutely. So here's the deal. At Master's Path Karate, we're looking for at-risk youth students. At-risk youth students, they don't have to pay for their tuition. Tuition is for a year. What we do is we go out to the business community and we ask them to provide scholarships for our at-risk youth students. But now your student, if your student was to come to us, they don't get the class for free. So with each rank they earn, they also have to do community service hours. So if your son or daughter was to come to us who is an at-risk youth student and maybe there's some financial challenges or whatever, your student will come to us, we'll take them. But at white belt, they have to go out and do 2 hours of community service. And we will supervise that. Then when they advance to yellow belt, now they have to go out and do 4 hours of community service. By the time they become a black belt candidate, they will now have earned, or they've worked, 99 hours of community service. So what we're doing is we're raising black belt leaders. We don't just want to teach karate. We want to raise black belt leaders who are servant-minded, who love to serve, and by the time they become 18 or 19 years of age, serving is already a part of their being.
Outstanding. I wish you so many blessings. We're going to end with his website so you can get in touch with him, masterspathkarate.com. The great David Anthony Schroeder. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.